Hi, everyone. The last time I spoke at ITU AI for Good event was 5 years ago. It was during COVID. It was obviously a virtual event. And I distinctly remember the topic I talked about was 100 things AI can do for good today. And honestly, I had to search for those 100 use cases. But today, if you think about it, we've made so much progress. Today, I could probably put together a slide of 10,000, 23,000 ways AI can be used for good. So there's a lot of progress that has been made. AI is part of our lives, and as you've seen throughout this event, there is so much going on with AI. So as part of the Deloitte AI Institute leader, I work a lot with boards and executive leaders, really talking about how AI can be used from a business perspective, how AI can be used in the largest enterprises in the world. One of the key observations that I have is many of these conversations are focused on ROI, value creation, process optimization, cost savings, and so on. But I do think this technology has immense power to do a lot of good. So today, in today's conversation, I'm going to share a little bit about the key component we might be missing in the entire conversation. What if I told you that in 5 years, your biggest competitive differentiator is going to be your workforce knowledge of AI? Are we talking enough about the impact of AI on the workforce and the changes that we need to do as leaders? Think about it. And today I'll cover across 3 dimensions: workforce education, skills, and standards, as the theme of the day is standards, and really dive deep into each of these areas. As you know, the technology is evolving rapidly. Think about it a few years ago when voice assistants came in. Right? The first voice assistant couldn't even recognize my accent, and it was always giving me the wrong answers. But it has advanced so much in the past few years. Just thinking about voice assistant, today it can have complex customer conversation. It can help with mental health challenges. It can help capture this conversations in real time, translate it into hundreds of languages if it wanted to. So it's so much advancement in just one area of AI. So think about the potential of all aspects of AI and how much impact it's having, and look at the number of, the progress it's made in just a few decades. Think of the example of a drug discovery. It used to take decades for a team of scientists to do the research and discover a new drug. Today, with AI, it takes months, a couple of years. We've seen that already coming into play. That's because scientists are using the AI tools. They can parse through data faster and come up with different hypotheses and combinations in a very fast way. That's because the scientists are trained on the AI tools. What happens if your employees are not trained on AI tools or don't have the basic AI literacy? I'll give you another example. A property insurance claims agent. Now, his job is to look at pictures, damages to property, and assess the value and how much should be paid out. He does it very manually, not necessarily something that can be very accurate, but the company invests in an AI rendition tool that can look through his pictures and help the agent do a better assessment in a faster way. Now, the agent is not being trained on AI or the tool, but is expected to use AI based on the manual provided. And obviously, there's a narrative on AI taking away jobs. So he's worried if he uses AI tools, then his job is going to go away. So he continues to do the job as he's always done. The difference would have been if the company had invested in workforce AI education as much as they invested in building or buying that AI tool. So you see how it is crucial for companies, organizations to think about AI and why it's important for the employees to be part of the AI journey. We cannot succeed in the AI journey unless all of our employees are with us. So Education. We've reached an interesting point with education. The technology is still evolving. I studied AI a long time ago. I'm going to date myself, but back in the early 90s. And that time, most of it was theory. And today, it is becoming real. And it is continuing to evolve. We are nowhere near the final stage with AI. There is still a lot of development that's going to happen in this technology. There is massive investments going into AI research. Every day, there is a new AI tool released or a new AI capability that you hear about in the headlines. And that's going to continue, trust me. We've seen the era of generative AI, AI agents. Next year, it'll be the next iteration of AI. There, we are barely scratching the surface with AI technology. Imagine this scenario where there are 3 parallel lanes. Right? The first lane is AI research, where the core technology, AI as a technology, is being developed. Right? That's the first lane where you hear a lot about the new next version of the large language model or a new agent being developed. The second lane that I want you to imagine is when that AI that's being created by researchers and labs is used in the real world, is applied in banks and hospitals and in your supply chain, right? That's the applied AI of the world, right? A technology that is not fully mature, we are already using it in the real world. And then the third lane is really standards, guardrails, the side effects of using a developing technology in the real world. So these 3 lanes are: the car is being developed in the first lane. It can get you from point A to point B faster. So it's already being used on the roads, but there are no speed limits. The roads haven't been developed. The roads are still meant for horse-driven carriages. There are no speed limits. There's no seat belts. So there's accidents happening. So I think we as a generation are at this huge opportunistic time where we get to influence and shape these 3 lanes, and we get to set the right guardrails, the right standards, and get all of humanity along the journey. So education is very hard in this scenario. You do realize you're trying to educate your employees on technology that is going to get outdated, or there is a new development that will come in by the time they get trained and are successful with it. So education is an interesting challenge. It is not a once and done. We have truly entered the era of continuous learning. There used to be a time when you did your college degree, and you could build an entire 40-year career just based on that one-time education. Today, that's no longer relevant. I can tell you, I studied computer science, and many of the core concepts are there, but a lot of the programming languages, already outdated. Who uses COBOL or Pascal today, right? But I can learn a new language because I have the basics. So how do you make sure your workforce also has the basic skills, the basic AI literacy, but there is a track, there's a pathway for them to stay ahead of AI tools that are getting created every day? In fact, in one of our recent surveys, we learned that 70% of employees learn a new technology, and it becomes obsolete in the next 6 months. So education as an employer, as leaders, is an interesting problem, is an interesting scenario that we're working at. We've entered an AI era where you really need to accept that employee continuous learning is part of the equation. Think about skill development. You have now started, once you accept that you have to become lifelong learners, what can companies provide? It's no longer about just, the same old way of training. You can now actually use AI to provide more personalized training. So you can train about AI with AI. What do I mean by that? So you can have not only the classroom-based training, but depending on the type of learning that you're most familiar with. Like, I have 2 sons. One of them is a very visual learner. He needs videos and pictures to learn from. We have always had education with 1 teacher and 1 to many students. But now you can have AI coaches From an employee perspective, depending on your job, your role, AI can actually have a personalized AI training pathway that an AI can build and have a personalized AI coach for each role. Think of if you're working in a warehouse and you have had the basic training, but what if there's an AI coach that could coach you through a real-time spill in the workforce, or in the warehouse, right? I mean, AI has so much power to even make the training easier and more fun for employees. So there are so many creative ways that AI can be used for learning itself. We've also seen where it's not just about providing the training, but also making sure that there are standards. Would you get into a self-driving car with no clear safety standards? I come from a city where there are self-driving cars today, and it's more of a tourist attraction today, but really, there are clear standards that have been safety standards that have been published on what are the guardrails that's been put into place, what are the likelihood of there being accidents. So I think standards are the bedrock for AI adoption. Without standards, it's very hard for anybody to trust AI. So think about the different kind of standards that's needed. And I think today's entire discussion is going to give you glimpses into everything that's being done with standards. And I think it's a phenomenal opportunity and absolutely crucial for us to have those standards, for us to have those speed limits and seat belts and the roads built for AI to be successful. Another one of our Deloitte surveys that came out earlier this year showed that the biggest obstacles to adoption of AI is actually risk management and regulatory compliance. We've talked about that in this event quite a bit. But if you think about it, risk management is that third lane, right? As regulations and laws are being developed, there are still gaps in it. And it doesn't help that technology is still changing, right? It's the same problem as education. Because the technology is still evolving and maturing, it's not at a static state, it's very hard to have those very robust laws which cover every possible scenario in a rapidly changing technology world. So it's highly unlikely that you will have standards or regulations that is thinking through every possible scenario. But at the same time, I believe we have enough regulations in place, especially in the highly regulated industries, that can help provide those guardrails, help provide us make progress. Risk management is another area where it is important for employees to be trained. The risks doesn't just come from your IT team or from the AI team. It is going to be, it can be at any level of your organization. If you don't think about risk across the board, it can be that intern in your marketing organization who's evaluating a marketing tool and doesn't know what kind of questions to ask or who to reach out to if they're concerned about certain aspects of the product that they're evaluating. So I think as part of your AI training, it is absolutely important to train them also on how to use the tools in a responsible, compliant way to reduce the risk exposure. We hear a lot about AI replacing jobs, and I think now it's becoming more and more clear it is about AI and humans working together. Of course, there will be jobs that will change and evolve. There will be new jobs that get created. If you look, for those who have been around for a few decades, know that the jobs that existed probably at that when we started out in our journey have changed and evolved. There is I can tell you that when I studied computer science, there was nobody with the title of data scientist. Forget data scientist. There was not even a mobile developer, was not even a role that existed, right? Those are jobs that got created. As we go deeper into this AI era, with the right AI literacy trainings, everybody can become AI savvy and use the latest AI tools and enhance their jobs. There will be new jobs that will be created, but it all comes down to how proactive you are as an individual to learn about AI, how proactive you are as a leader to get your organization on this AI journey to be successful. After all, you can have the best AI tool possible, but if nobody uses it, it's a failed AI project. So to drive AI adoption, you have to look at how can the employees use AI effectively, responsibly, and have those new ideas for tools. So there's a lot that can be done with AI and humans working together. It's not AI that's going to take away a job, but it's a human who knows AI and how to use AI tools in their job that will take away a job or will get the next promotion or win the job interview. So I cannot emphasize enough on how important it is for everybody to become AI savvy, AI literate from every aspect. The last thing I'll talk about a little bit more is having an AI sandbox. Again, from a leadership perspective, it's not just about providing the training or providing an AI coach, but how do you provide an environment where employees can safely and in a compliant way try out different tools? You do not want, we've heard of scenarios where employees put out proprietary data into the public environment. So it is crucial for leaders to think about how can we provide a sandbox, a safe space for employees to try out new tools, to learn about new tools, or get their hands on even building some AI. When I talk about AI literacy, let me be clear, I'm not expecting every employee to become a data scientist or start building algorithms, but just become familiar with the ABCs of AI. Meaning you should be able to tell what deep learning is, what a large language model is, what are the AI tools, if you're an accountant, what are the AI tools that's available in the accounting world, and what are the tools that's available within your organization for accountants. This is a great opportunity for all employees to get involved, and having a sandbox gives that hands-on experience for employees to get more active and involved in these roles. So from a highlight perspective, continuous AI education, if I want to leave you all with one thing, learn about AI, become AI literate, go beyond the headlines, look at your role, what you want to do in your world, in your job, and become extremely familiar with the AI tools in your space, and be responsible about it. We stand at the cusp of tremendous opportunity. And we have this opportunity to make a lot of difference. Our decisions today are going to be far-reaching. And if we grab this moment, we can truly make AI good for everyone. Thank you.